Hey everyone, in today's episode, I interview Swapna Patel. She is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the fashion industry and how to work on your personal and professional image. We had a great conversation about how you look on the outside affects how you feel, how confident you feel, and everything else you do professionally. This was a great conversation. I know you're going to love it and get a ton of amazing tips for it. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Accidental CEO podcast, where we bridge the gap between the creativity you love and the CEO mindset you need. I'm your host, Nada Salvatore, wedding photographer and business educator. Find full show notes and resources at accidentalceopod.com. Let's get into today's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Accidental CEO podcast. Today, I have Swapna Patel with me. She is a former New York fashion designer, now a personal style expert who works with high-achieving women. And I am so excited for our conversation. I think it's going to be a lot of great information for all of us business owners who should be caring about our image and how we are showing up for our business. So welcome, Swapna.
Thank you, Nata. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So tell us just a little bit more about your former life as a former New York fashion designer and how you ended up starting your business.
It's funny. I think my story fits the title of your podcast, Accidental
Yeah.
CEO. Well, I'm actually professionally trained as a fashion designer. I have a degree in fashion design, a second undergraduate degree in fashion merchandising, and I used to work in New York on 7th Avenue as a women's wear designer. And then I had kids and took a break. And totally not expecting to go back to work or anything like that. And I was one day watching a video on how to make perfect hospital corners for the bed, like when you make the bed. So I thought I was going to be like this stay-at-home Martha Stewart type of person. And when I was watching that video, I thought to myself, what the heck am I doing? Like, this is not it. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And you know how I don't know if you have young children, but when I was home with my then 4-year-old and 1-year-old, I just felt like a part of me was missing because I was used to this life of being creative, but also like dressing up and going out. And now I was like sitting at home in this schedule of bottles and diapers and whatnot. But anyway, from there, I decided to shift my energy from being just a stay at home mom to just becoming a whole person again who doesn't fold hospital corners while making beds and wants to be more in life than, burping and talking about sleep schedules and all of that. So I actually started to change the way I dressed. And the way I did it is I took some of my corporate wardrobe staples and then I mixed it with some of my Target finds, as I like to call them. And I felt like that changed my energy. And then whenever I would show up and meet other women and other moms, they would say, hey, like, that's so cute. Like, can you come to my house and help me sort out my wardrobe? They were FaceTiming me from fitting rooms saying, can I wear this to a job interview? So, in that, I knew there was an invitation for a business. And that is how I became an accidental CEO and started my own business as a stylist.
That's great. So really recognizing the need, listening to what people are asking you to help them with, and then making a business out of that. So that's great. Style Remix was born. That's the name of your company, right?
Style Remix was born. Yes. It's named like that because I believe that a lot of us have a lot of clothes in our wardrobe. In fact, most of us are wearing 20% of what we own 80% of the time. Initially, I was only offering a wardrobe remix where I would teach you how to wear what's in your closet in new and interesting ways.
So tell us, what does it really mean to work with a personal stylist? What does that look like? Because a lot of people, I feel like, yeah, we hear of that, but what does it really mean practically to work with somebody like you?
Sure. So, as soon as you say personal stylist, people think it's for a celebrity or that it's for the rich and famous. Well, it's not like that. In fact, I love styling regular women like you and me. And what it means is really discovering who you are, where you want to go, and then dressing for that. And just like we hire experts in other areas of our life, right? Like you're not taking your own wedding pictures, you're hiring a photographer. Or if you get sick, you're going to a doctor to fix something, or you're seeing a nutritionist or a personal trainer. And this is no different. It's a professional like me, a personal stylist like me, has the tools to help you look and feel your best.
Do you feel like a lot of the people that you work with think they know what looks good on them, but they really don't have a good concept?
No, so I think that most of us feel that, well, I should know how to do this. Like how hard can it be? But it's not something that is taught to us in school or college, right? We develop our style based on what we see around us. So cultural influences, what people in our school are wearing if you're young, what women around us are wearing, how our moms used to dress, how our aunts, sisters used to dress, right? Those are the influences we have. Sometimes women know that like the colors they're wearing are not right or the fit of their things is not right. But we always feel like the spending on a stylist or a whole new wardrobe is not necessarily at the top of everyone's priority list. And that's why they put it off and put it off. And then they get like a big invitation to be on a TV show or like a public speaking engagement opportunity, brand photos, right? And then that's when they say, okay, now it's time for me to work with a stylist.
I can see that. We don't think about it for the day to day or for when we're meeting with people on a regular basis, just when, maybe you're going to be in front of a larger audience. But at the end of the day, how we look every day really speaks a lot more volume to, the values that we're bringing, what we are about, and the image that we want to portray. So not waiting to the last minute. Yeah.
And the way we dress is a reflection of our energy, right? So in the energetic world, we believe that like attracts like. So if you bring good energy, then you attract good energy, then you attract the amazing clients. I have some clients that have told me that although they are at the top of their field, many times like clients try to negotiate their rate down a lot, or they will, not treat them in like the most professional way. And I do think sometimes it's that image of authority that you project with your clothes that can make a difference. That is teaching people, you're training people how to take you seriously or not.
Yeah, so I talk to my team a lot about that and how to show up dressed for. So we're wedding photographers and videographers, how to make sure that we're dressed very nicely at the wedding day. And we get compliments all the time because we are there representing our brand, representing the company, but also they pay for a high ticket service. I shouldn't be showing up wearing jeans and open shoes and not, professionally dressed to the high level service that I'm providing. So it needs to be a consistent message when it comes to your brand. And part of that is how you dress.
100%. And I always, think that people make a judgment about others in a split second, right? There's a statistic around it, which I don't remember now, but it's like less than a second. It's a few milliseconds. So people are going to form opinions anyway. Let them form a good one.
Yeah. Have control over that for at least until they start
Absolutely.
talking to you.
Absolutely. And especially in the online world, right? Like if somebody recommends a vendor to me, I immediately go online and look for them. I look for their website. I am looking at their social media. So all of these are extensions of our personal brand. And I'm not saying that we have to be dressed to the nines all the time. That's not humanly possible. But putting a little intention in all of those things really sets you apart and positions you as the authority, as the leader of your space.
How did you ended up in New York working with fashion?
So I actually Nada came to the United States as a student. So I went to college in Philadelphia and I was studying fashion merchandising and I got an amazing internship in, wow, I feel like everyone's going to laugh at my age, but 2001, that's when I got my internship. And I went back to school. And just a few months after that, they made me an offer saying, will you join us when you graduate? So that's how I ended up in New York.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I came from another country too to go to college, so definitely relate to that.
It was a big deal, and especially in 2001 with all the events that had happened in New York and the way the economic and political climate was at the time, it was looking a little iffy, but I feel very blessed that I had an amazing internship opportunity that then led to something solid.
Did you always know you wanted to work in fashion?
So it's funny you say that. Yes and no. So I've been sewing clothes for my dolls since I was very little. When I was about 7 or 8, my grandmother taught me how to knit as a way of keeping out of trouble in the summer holidays. She's like, here, let me teach you to keep your hands busy. So all of those things, I think, just deepened my interest. And I used to watch a TV show when I was in middle school that was about fashion designers. And I was just so enamored that that's when I decided I want to study design.
I love that. Very cool. How do you explain the concept of using clothing as a powerful tool for visual branding to someone who has never considered fashion in this way?
Often start by telling them that there's an article in the Harvard Business Review that says people who put together their look and themselves make 12% more money than people who don't. And that usually, lights a fire under them. No, I'm kidding. I mean, money is a great motivator, but that goes to tell you what a powerful nonverbal communication tool it is. Just like our body language, our posture, don't slouch, have your shoulders nice and tall. It is one of those things. And these days, even with our profile pictures, let's say being on LinkedIn, right? Every potential employer is going to look you up on LinkedIn. So that image matters. Even before you have had a chance to impress them in the interview or land that interview, that is a big part of that image. I mean, we can take that example in a non professional environment and apply it to dating. You're not guaranteed an amazing date, but people do choose to go on date based on pictures. Like that is a big part of it. Nobody puts their worst picture on a dating app. They put their best picture on it.
I love that. So, a lot of women really hesitate to either appear on branding photos or feel uncomfortable showcasing their style. What are some of the common reasons you have found of why this hesitation exists, and how do you help them overcome that?
So the number one reason women hesitate to show up on camera, and all of my brand photographer partners have told me, is that they want to lose weight. They don't love the way they look. Over 60% of them say it's because of their weight. And clothes cannot take off the 10 pounds for you, but they can certainly make you look like it. With clothes, you can highlight your best features and tone down the things that make you feel conscious of your body. So people call it clothes and makeup, and I call it an armor and war paint,
Yes.
right? So that's the number one reason they don't love the way they look. And it's every woman is beautiful. The problem is that we have been conditioned by media, by magazines, by all of these other things to feel like there's only one acceptable standard of beauty. That only if you're a certain size, a certain body shape, a certain hair color are you considered beautiful. But the truth is, if you have curly hair like me, people are going to say, well, straight hair is pretty. People are always trying to get what they don't have. But instead, if we embrace what our natural beauty is, which is given to each and every one of us, that is my true belief, that we can play that up with clothes.
So you have that background in fashion designing and now work on the high achieving woman to curate an on brand wardrobe. How do your experience in fashion influence your approach to that personal styling with your clients?
So, people, as soon as you say fashion, like people like freeze up because they think I'm going to judge them, but it's not like that at all. I'm just your regular woman next door. But when I was in design, I developed a thorough knowledge of fabrics and most importantly, fit, right? So I understand how clothes should fit you to fit every single different body type, where it should be tucked, where we need to alter it, things like that. So I think the fit part of it is really big. Trends, as a stylist, I don't believe that trends are an important part of our brand image. But at the same time, you need to be aware of the trends because you also don't want to look dated in your pictures. Let's take the current example of skinny jeans. Like, we went into the pandemic wearing skinny jeans. We have come out on the other side with all these different fits of jeans, right? And there are women who are still very passionately holding on to the skinny jean. But what's going to happen is, because it's outdated now, if you take pictures in your skinny jeans, they're just not going to look, they're going to look like they're from 5 years ago. So it's not that we want to be trendy, but we want to look like we're aware of what's going on in the world. So bringing that element in. And then really it's all about how you put things together, different colors, different textures, different patterns, right? And understanding how all of that is going to work with who you are, what your life experiences are, what your stories are, and how you are trying to make others feel in your business.
I like that, how you're trying to make others feel in your business and be influenced by what you are looking like and how you're showing up.
I mean, you do that, right? You said with your team, you
Mhm.
have like a certain dress code for weddings. You want your bride and groom to have a flawless experience. You want them to feel like they're taken care of, right? And there's a way to show all of this in how we dress, the colors we choose, things like that.
So, what are some of the common mistakes that you see women doing when it comes to fashion?
So they are not actually style mistakes, but they are our habits of shopping and things like that, right? Waiting till the last minute, I would say, is one of the biggest problems because whenever we wait till the last minute to shop or prepare for an event, two things are happening. Number one, you are either rushing to the sale rack and buying something that looks like exactly what you already have, or you are desperate and now you're going to spend on just anything. You just need something. So who cares if it's $500, you're going to buy it. So always giving yourself time and not shopping under duress would be one thing. Second thing I would say is trying to hide or make yourself small. So women typically do this with wearing oversized or loose clothes because they want to hide, like, oh, I gained like 10 pounds in the pandemic, so I'm just going to wear this baggy thing. But sometimes, actually, when you're trying to hide and things like that, you are A, doing yourself a huge disservice, but B, you can actually draw not good attention to yourself in those type of clothes.
I definitely see that. Just because I have you here, let's talk about something that I hear my brides talk about a lot. So, women are worried about their arms very often when it comes to wedding dresses. So, there's always a question about, if you're worried about the look of your arms, should we have a dress that covers it, or should you actually have a dress that takes attention away from your arms by leaving them alone and maybe focusing the eyes somewhere else?
So this is one of my favorite tricks. I always say, draw the attention somewhere else. So I think in a wedding dress, it's very difficult to not show off your arms or shoulders. But I actually think that the shoulder is like this area between your neck and your shoulder is the sexiest part of every woman's body. No matter what size you are, it's there's just some appeal to it, I think. The other things you can do is choose a different hairstyle. Like if you have long hair and you're conscious about your arms, maybe don't pick an updo, pick a half up, half down, or have long, loose curls, right? So you can do things like that. In pictures specifically, and I'm talking about brand pictures or even Zoom meetings, sleeves just do a lot better. Now, I don't think that that is the exact thing that you should follow in a wedding dress because wedding dress fashion is very different. I would say strapless is great because visually your whole arm and shoulder area is just creating one line versus maybe a short sleeve or having like a little strap that goes across your shoulder. So, visually, wherever you can avoid cutting your body parts, right, you should do that so that it elongates it actually.
Yeah, there's always a debate about what to do in that part of the wedding dress. So love that you're here to help us with that. What are some of the initial steps someone can take to start using their wardrobe as a tool to boost their online visibility and their personal brand?
So I always say that you don't have to start going out and buying new clothes. Look at your wardrobe. And if you have six things that you wear over and over, look at them and say, why do I wear these over and over? Like, is it the fit of these pants? Like, does my butt look really great in these jeans? Does this color of blue bring out my eyes? What is it about the things that you love? And now look at the things that you never wear. For example, orange is not a great color on me, so I don't have it in my wardrobe. But there have been times in the past where I've gotten excited and bought one or two orange things. And then you wonder, like, why haven't I ever worn this? This still has tags on it. Hold up those things in the mirror and just be totally honest with yourself. And then don't hold onto it if it's something that you feel, you know what, I got carried away in that moment. I was in Mexico. I'd had two margaritas, but this dress is really not me. It's time to bless and release and give it to somebody else, like donate it or consign it because somebody else will love it. But holding on to things because you spent a lot of money or, oh, but there's nothing wrong with it, but you're not wearing it. And that is what is wrong with it. So I say start with what you have, and then based on what you love, you can build out other things.
Hey there, are you a creative professional looking to elevate your business and artistic vision? Discover the transformative power of personalized coaching tailored specifically for creatives like you. During the sessions, I dive into the unique challenges and goals for your specific business, especially as a creative entrepreneur. That's very important because what you do, it is special and it is different than everybody else. You're going to break through some mental barriers and cultivate a mindset that really nurtures the creativity and resilience of your business. We're going to enable you to thrive in both your personal and professional life. That is my goal for you. If you're ready to embark in an amazing journey of one-on-one coaching with me, hop over to accidentalceo.co and let's get you to be the CEO that you're meant to be. That's very good. I think we all have that friend or family member that gets us all excited about something that is really not us. And they're like, just get it, it's different, and you're gonna love it. And then at the end of the day, it stays on the back of your closet.
Yes. And I also think, learning to trust yourself to know what looks good on you is important. A lot of times we get advice from well meaning family and friends, and it does not necessarily mean, unless they are a professionally trained person to help you, that it's good advice.
Can you talk a little bit about the role of like fashion psychology and color analysis in personal styling and how these elements contribute to creating that powerful personal and professional image?
Yes, two of my favorite topics, right? So let's start with color because right now at this moment color is going viral. I mean, it's crazy on TikTok. People are flying to Korea to get a color analysis. You don't have to do that. You can get one virtually. What a color analysis does, it's not to determine which colors are trendy or if trendy colors are going to work for you. Color analysis really looks at your skin tone, your natural hair color, and your eye color to decide which colors are the most harmonious for you. Which colors are going to highlight you in a way that you don't have to wear a ton of makeup, or maybe you're looking to minimize hair salon appointments, right? Let's say you're a brunette and you get naturally a brunette, but then you have decided to go blonde. It can help you figure out, like, Are you even getting the right color, right shade of blonde in your hair? Sometimes you'll realize, like, oh, I'm better off being an ash blonde than like a brighter, like strawberry or true blonde. And then also the colors we wear cast shadows on our face, right? That's why certain colors make us look tired, or like my daughter always says, Mom, you look jaundiced when you wear orange. That's what color does because it plays differently against each and every skin tone, right? So if you are looking to simplify getting ready, if you are looking to have a capsule wardrobe of things that go together without having 3,000 things there, then I think color is a great place to start because automatically when you start wearing things that are in your palette, all of those colors will start working together with each other.
Yes, yes. Let's talk about the fashion psychology a little bit.
So, fashion psychology is a favorite topic of mine because I think nobody's talking about it, but it's that impact of how we dress and not just how others are perceiving us, but also how we are perceiving ourselves. So, there was a study done and it's called enclothed cognition, but it gave people lab coats to wear over a period of time. And it said that even if they were not like qualified doctors or anything, just by putting that lab coat on, they just felt smarter by doing that. And that is the power of what we wear and how it changes the perceptions we have. If you are hesitant to show up on camera, or if you don't like public speaking, right? And you can channel some of those things that we now know from fashion psychology into how you dress. So, if you want to feel more powerful, and even if you're on a Zoom call, and the thing that makes you feel powerful is a pair of heels, then wear them. Because it's not that the person on the other side is going to know you're wearing heels. You know it, and it's going to make you taller and stronger and show up differently. So I say find the thing that makes you feel amazing and then wear it every time. For somebody, it may be earrings. For somebody, it may be a certain style of blazer. So find what those things are and then wear them.
If somebody's presenting in front of a lot of people, say they got a speaker opportunity, what would you recommend it's something that they should look into wearing to help them feel more confident and project that, authority and professional image?
It's going to be at the intersection of a few things. Number one, who is the audience? How do you want them to feel? And also, some of the environment, like where's the event? What kind of mic are you going to wear? Are you going to wear a lapel mic? Are you going to need a waistband to put the box on your back? There's all these other things, right? Then, do you speak a lot with your hands? Like, do you make a lot of hand movements when you're speaking? Then maybe you don't want to wear a bunch of bracelets. Are you going to have a headset? Like, what are your accessories? Those kinds of things. But I also say that a big event is not a time to try something brand new. Like, that's not the first day you should wear it. So, if you never wear heels and you always wear sneakers, now your big TEDx talk is not the first time to put on 4-inch heels. So, for that, I say pick where you are and then level up from there. So, if you always wear sneakers, just wear really amazing sneakers.
There's some fashionable ones out there now.
Absolutely. Right now, I mean, there's some new ones from Christian Dior even that are like amazing. Who would have thought House of Dior would be making sneakers,
Yeah,
right?
suits and sneakers are a big thing right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you feel like women are perceived as more powerful or more professional when they're wearing a suit versus a dress or like skirt, any specific combination of clothing?
So this is again going back to that little fashion psychology piece. Do you know where the whole history of women wearing suits comes from?
No, tell us.
Women weren't in really predominantly in the workforce until World War II. Because in World War II, when the men went to war, women started to step into a lot of those roles. So from that point on, in the 80s, we can say women kind of started getting close to that glass ceiling, right? But still, the number of women in the workplace versus the number of men in the workplace, they were still outnumbered by the men. So, women wearing pants, women wearing blazers, women wearing suits, these are all things from the menswear wardrobe that have come into women's wear because of that, right? Because women needed to up the ante on the power game. So they had to dress a little bit like the people in that room. So wearing a blazer, wearing heels, right? Because height conveys power as well, especially if you're a woman in a room of men and you have a little bit of height, you have automatically have embodied that power. So those are definitely things. Now, that doesn't mean that wearing a dress makes you less powerful, but then the cut of the dress, the color of the dress, all of those things are going to make a difference.
Yeah, I love that. Love the history lessons. So you've helped some professionals of various fields really elevate their style. Can you share maybe a success story or a transformation that particularly stands out to you?
Yes, absolutely. So I love working with all different kinds of women, but I have a client in California. Her name is Jessie. And Jessie has some intuitive gifts that she, for a long time, and I think many people who have intuitive gifts or are in this spiritual world, they're sometimes in the spiritual closet, right? Like they're not fully sharing that with everybody. But I think for her, it just got to a point where she just had to share her gifts with everybody. But she was also an immigrant. She had moved to California. She had a lot of like stories that she was coming with. And she was scared to show up and be the face of her brand. So we started working together. We even bought her new workout clothes. So this is really what happened with her. We bought her a whole bunch of new workout clothes, and she used to go to some group workout classes. So she always used to hang out in the back of the room behind everybody so nobody would see her. Now she got some new clothes. She felt really like fun and sexy and energetic. So she gradually moved to the front of the room. She moves to the front of the room. People start noticing her. She makes friends. Slowly, some of those friends become clients, start referring her to other people. And within 6 months of working together, she made $40,000. So she really stepped into a full expression of who she was. Her energy changed and she became a magnet, right? She started attracting people, attracting opportunities to herself. So she's one of my favorite stories to tell.
I love that. Very good. When we talked a little bit before, you mentioned being a projector archetype in human design. How does understanding your human design really influence the way you work with your clients and manage your business?
So it definitely helps me manage my business because I've realized like hustling, chasing, those type of things are not for me. A human design projector is like a lighthouse. So a lot of human design experts have told me that you sometimes will be standing solo on a rock, but you just have to do that and shine your light. And the ships will see it, and the ships that need a harbor are going to find you. So that's what I try to do. I try to show up and educate and give you all my very best. And if you're a right fit, you're going to reach out to me. So that has actually simplified my life a lot because now I'm not constantly hustling or cold pitching and just things that have never felt right for me. Now I just know why they never felt right. And now I can work in a way that is more aligned with who I am. Also, as a human design projector, you're supposed to prioritize rest. And generally, rest in our culture is very frowned upon, but it's actually really essential. So now I know that I can only work for about 30 to 40% max. Like that's when I do my best work. So I just plan my days around it. So, for example, today I'm speaking with you, and a few hours later, I'm going to deliver a talk for a women's group. So I've kind of done nothing all day, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it because I needed my energy to show up today for this, for the talk I'm going to afterwards, right? So it's really using my energy wisely and not burning out.
Yeah, I love understanding how you can show up your best really for your business and your family and yourself really encompasses everything from how you show up to what you wear to how much of your energy you give to each one of those activities. So really love
Yes.
that
Do
concept.
you know your human design?
I don't. I'm gonna go and do some research after our talk now and try to learn that. I know, yeah, I've done so many different tests of, like, personality and leadership qualities and all that, but yes, I'm gonna go look it up for sure. What are some of your favorite things to do when you're not working in your business for, the resting and relaxation and, feeling excited about?
I always say that when I'm not remixing the perfect outfit for my clients, I'm a short order cook for my resident picky eaters. And I drive a mom Uber to after school activities. I know I'm not, I mean, it's funny, but like really, being a mom is my almost feels like a full time job. But when I'm not doing either of those things, I love to read, I love to knit. So I've started picking up my knitting needles and my knitting projects again because it's very meditative to like just repeatedly sit there with the yarn. It's just creative and gives you a sense of fulfillment. So I love doing that. But I do love to read. I'm an avid reader. I finally developed a morning practice where I wake up and I meditate and I journal. Like those were, and I always say in my day, if I worked out and I journaled and I meditated, like those are my three big things for the day that can set the tone right for everything. I have a Peloton bike. For those of your listeners who love Peloton, I'm a avid Peloton lover, and it's really changed the way I look at health and fitness.
Very cool. I learned to knit from my grandma as well, just like you. But I find it's funny, I have to be careful because I can get really obsessed with it, and I can't put it down, and I start, and I'm just going and going, and out of the sudden, everything hurts. My neck hurts, my hands because I just cannot put it down. I remember trying to take it on an airplane one time because I wanted and they're like, "You can't bring needles here," and I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." I didn't even think about it. I was just so excited about knitting in this long flights that I had. And my daughter now, my older one, who's 10 years old, have learned how to do some crocheting from her grandma, which has been fun, and she loves, like, sewing and crocheting, and she's very artistic, so
What kind of things do you like to knit?
oh my gosh, I don't have skill to make anything specific, but so I think I tell this detail on my first podcast episode. So part of how I put the money together to secure my spot when I got accepted to physical therapy school was I sold a lot of scarves. Like I knit them and I sold scarves when I was in undergrad. So I can't make anything too fancy. I can make maybe a sweater if I really force myself to remember how to make things. But
A sweater is fancy.
yeah, I mean, I'll have to really think about it again. But I grew up watching my mom do it, and my grandma was a seamstress. So I've learned all of that fun stuff growing up as well.
Yeah, and I think, it's important to bring these crafts back into our lives, whether it's knitting or sewing or needlepoint, not because we like people back in the day used to knit because they actually needed the clothes to wear. And now we live in this world where we can go buy it. But it's such a beautiful craft. It's so relaxing. And it's important to pass this down to the next generation. I mean, I know so many women my age that say, "Oh, I don't know how to sew a button on. I'll just buy a new pair of pants."
Okay.
But that just seems that is really wasteful because think of the damage we're doing to the planet, right? I read somewhere that there's enough wasted clothes that people have discarded to dress all the humans for like the next four
Generation.
generations or something.
Exactly. It's generations after generation. Yeah.
So, and on that note, I think important to be a conscious consumer, especially of textiles, right? We don't need to have a different outfit in every single picture. Like, nobody remembers. It's okay to repeat clothes.
Yes, absolutely. I loved our conversation today. A lot of great information for our listeners. Where can they find you if they decided to take that action and start using somebody like you to guide them?
Absolutely. Thanks, Nata. My Instagram is style.remix, and that is my favorite place to hang out. You can also check out my website, which is also styleremix with two X's.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Swapna, for
Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, thanks for spending the time with me and sharing all your knowledge with our audience.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, I'll see you all next week for another episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us in the world where creativity and business strategy collide. I am Nada Salvatore, thrilled to have shared this time with you. Remember, every episode is a step closer to mastering the art of being an accidental CEO. So don't miss out. Hit subscribe, drop us a sweet review, and spread the word to your creative tribe. Your next big breakthrough could be just one episode away. Join us next time for more insights, laughs, and actionable tips. Keep pushing boundaries, dreaming big, and embracing the beautiful chaos of entrepreneurship. Here's to make magic happen in your business and beyond.